It's your girl Matt Cox here with MA Couture Crafting, and 2021 is going to be all about telling the truth. And the truth of the matter is, I am a different kind of planner. In my mind, I want to do all the habit tracking and all the things and decorate and all. I'm not doing that. That's not who I am. I am a list maker. And I had to tell myself, you're a list maker. If you come in here, you'll see lists, post-its on things. I handwrite out lists all the time. And that's pretty much the extent of how I plan. So I needed to redo my system. I mean, I have a lovely cloth and paper. This guy is kind of large. And also, I am a handbag carrier. So I like to carry like cute clutches and handbags, which is really strange because I don't like to have things in my hands. But anyway, I like handbags. But 2021, absolutely not. We are not placing bags on counters and things. I need to be able to be a little more agile. I need to be able to move. I need to be able to stay away from people. I just want my hands free right now. So I thought, okay, well, this will be a great time to buy a Loungefly. You guys know Loungefly. This is super cute. And I thought, well, this guy, cloth and paper, is the same size. So that's not going to work. I need to get a smaller planner, right? That was what I was thinking. She's cute. She's cute. However, the first one that I bought was this guy. This is Jack Skellington. This sucker is huge. And I was like, that's not, when I thought Loungefly, I was like, that's not what we're doing. However, this is the one that I bought and I was like, it's too big. So my new planner setup is this. Oh, it's pretty. This is a Notiq. Out of a cloth and paper into a Notiq, right? However, this sucker is big. It's much larger than I thought. And it fits the slimline happy planners, which are, you know, they're cute and I like them and they're slimline and I like everything slimline. So it seemed like it would work. And it is going to work. This guy is going to work. But this guy also does not fit. So I guess I will be carrying a larger bag. Whatever. It is what it is. So Notiq. It is ring bound. Yes. And it is clean and it smells good. And it's definitely a more luxurious planner cover. This is not your happy planner price or anything like that. You can put the happy planner inside. It fits the 9 1/4 by 4 1/2, I believe it is. I think those are the dimensions of the things that I did in here. This is completely customized by me. I work with the woman Valeria from Alibi Designs. I always have. I love her style. And so if you'd like to see how I set up my list planner, because again, we're not habit tracking, we're not doing any of that. I plan projects and I plan my life by making lists. So if you'd like to see that, please stay tuned. Again, if you haven't liked, comment, and subscribe, please do. Definitely chat with me about what you're doing with your planner this year. If you are a list maker more so than a planner girl, like let me know. Let me know what you guys are doing this year. But yeah, this is your girl's planner. And apparently this is your girl's new purse. It is what it is. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so let's open up this box and see what this Notiq really looked like as it was shipped to me. They have the pretty tape to the left. It's you know, it's packaged luxuriously. It's got the nice tissue paper and the coordinating tape on the outside and this nice velvet feeling case, and it smells like leather. It smells good. It's a little smaller than it's thinner than that one. I think this guy is 7 by 9 and this is like 9 and no, this was like 10 by 5 kind of thing. And it comes with the vellum envelope with some goodies in there. It came with a notepad and a pen. The pen was nice and heavy and writes really nicely. I don't know that I'm going to use it. I am a pen gems gal, but it's a nice pen. I actually put cards in my planner, so I love that it has those card slots there and places for you to put other things. It's nice. It's gorgeous. It's made very, very well. And then it has these covers that come with it with some aluminum discs. I am pleased. Let's get into how I set it up. Our shapes tab and drag in a square. And we're going to change the dimensions of the square to 4.75 by 9 1/4. And that's a little bit larger than the papers that go in there. I want to be able to see the overhang, which, the little tab, how far over it can hang. So I am taking another square and changing the dimensions to 0.5 by 9 1/4. And I'm putting it over there. And that's going to show me kind of my little working room for the tab that I'm going to create. Now I'm going to try to find a tab, something like with a shape that I really like. So I typed in squares that were rounded. You can type in tabs and whatnot, but I liked this rounded square shape for mine. And I only need one layer. So one of those layers I'm going to delete. And now I'm going to change the tab to the size that I want the tabs to be. So I'm trying, let me see, I think I tried like 4.5, and then I went ahead and did 2 by 2. Now the back end is rounded too, and I don't need the back end to be rounded. So I'm going to grab another square and lay it on top of the back end of the tab. So I want the front part of the tab to have rounded corners, but the back tab to be straight. So I do a 2 by 2 square, and now I'm going to put these together and align them so that they align just right, and then I'm going to weld them together. Cricut is glitchy. Look at it. It's glitching right now. That was not supposed to happen. Why is there a diagonal line? I don't know. My Cricut design space, it is glitchy, and you're seeing it happen it happens to everybody. So I decide to do it again. No worries. Gotta do it again. It's ridiculous what happens here, but just stay with it. Hopefully Cricut will get these glitches out of here and we won't have to worry about that anymore. So I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm making sure that they are aligned, and I'm going to make the back end, I'm going to weld it, and you'll see it go from rounded to sharp. And there we go. So then I changed it to purple so that I can see it. And that is what the tab is going to look like on my planner. And I didn't want full dividers for this. I just think that would be a waste for this type of planner. It's no big deal. I just needed some quick tabs that I can flip through and I can see the months. And I want to keep all the months in my planner this year. Usually I keep like 6 at a time, but I need to be able to reflect back and go forward. So all the months will be kept in the planner at the same time. So I ended up doing more than 12 of these, but at least 12. And I'm just looking at the spacing right now. I'm kind of moving them around, trying to see how they're going to stack, what the letters, can look like, how big of a font I can use, because I'm going to print to cut these dividers. And that just means that I'm going to print the words on them. And so that way I don't have to do another layer or anything like that. And I can make them cute and pretty. So I'm kind of arranging them how they'll go, and I'm looking and messing with them and seeing how many I can fit on one, on one side. So now we're going to add the text. And I decided to not do the full months, but I wanted to be able to read the months straight vertical, not horizontal. So I didn't want them turned on the side. Then I thought about it. I was like, wait, I want more tabs. I don't understand people who put tabs at the top of their planners. Nobody is up there. I've never understood that. I love tabs that are at the bottom of the page. So at this point is when I decided that I wanted to do more, but I wanted to put them at the bottom. So you're going to see me rotate this guy. So all I did was take one of those purple tabs and make it a little bit bigger. And I am going to figure out how to stack these. So the way I thought about it is I wanted at least 3 at the bottom. I think I ended up doing 3 or 4. And you see me playing with the overhang there. I know that I have some room at the bottom of my planner. But the rings, or I should say the disc bounds, the discs for the binding are all the way to the left. So they're going to have to stack. One is going to have to be a little bit longer than the other. So see here, this 1 inch, perfect, not a big deal. But the next one needs to be 2 inches so that it overlaps and still has some more overhang. so that I'll be able to see the words on the other tab. So I'm sizing this one down to 1. And I chose to do the height at about 4.5. And that allows me to have at least, I think, 3 discs to give it some stability. So I'm rotating it and I'm trying it and I'm putting it and I'm layering them and I'm elongating them just a bit so that I can see where the words are gonna lie. And I said that I did 3, but I think I ended up doing 4 at the bottom. So now you see how 1, it's all the way to the left, but it overhangs that blue section. So I know that that's another tab, and I know that the wording can go on the bottom blue to the right and still be seen even when the green is there. So now I'm doing the same thing with this larger green tab. I'm going to change the color so I can see this guy. And we're going to elongate it a little bit and pull them down, and bam, you've got 3 tabs that overhang at the bottom. Now, I made sure to save this project at this point so that you guys, if you have the same dimensions as I do and you really want to recreate this planner, you can. Because once I throw the images in there, it changes things drastically and you can't share stuff and blah, blah, blah. But right here, all I did was use some squares that I think everybody has, and yeah, you should be able to use this. I think they're all free images that I'm using is what I'm trying to say. And I think this is me. I think I did a 4th tab. But I'm wiggling, I'm playing with it, I'm making sure that the heights are all the same. And then I save it for you guys. This is the slimline dividers. Use them however you would like. There's a 4th. I did add a 4th one. Okay, so let's start making the tabs. Let me show you how that works. I typed up the text. I wasn't really particular about what font I was using. I wanted this to be done more so than super pretty, I guess you can say. So I'm using just the regular, I forget, the Arial font or whatever came with it. But like I told you guys, I wanted it to go up and down. I wanted to be able to read them up and down. So I typed in a letter, hit enter, typed in another letter, hit enter. And then I separated them all to letters under the advanced feature, moved them so that they were spaced properly, and then group them together. And there you go. Now you've got January on there. Perfect. And so I did that 12 more times, plus whatever extra ones that I wanted to do. So you do the F, hit enter, E, and then the B, hit enter, group them to letters, and then space them accordingly. Select them all by dragging a box around them, centered them so that the letters were centered, and then shrunk them down and put them right there on the tab. So at this point, I'm just checking the sizes and making sure that they're going to fit and be cute. And now here comes the fun part. We're going to upload images. I chose to do a makeup theme for all of my dividers. Last year, I did a Disney theme. Works perfect either way. I grabbed a bunch of Juvia's Place palettes from Instagram, and I just saved the images to my desktop, and then I imported them by hitting upload a pattern. You browse it, you grab the one that you want, and then you hit open. You can name it whatever you want to name it. I'll delete these afterwards so they won't even still be in my system. And now it says it was uploaded successfully. So you're going to save it. And now you're going to go and under this tab here to the right where it says cut, you're going to go to print. Where that purple box is, you're going to go to print. Then you're going to click the purple box and click pattern, change it from color to pattern, and then your patterns will show up here. And then you just click the pattern that you want. And then it says edit pattern at the bottom left of that tab, see? And now you can play with it. You can change the scale. You can drag it to the right. You can drag it to the left. You can rotate it. You can do pretty much whatever you want to do with this pattern. You just have to figure out what scale looks best. If you want it to repeat, if you don't want it to repeat. Because I was grabbing squares from Instagram, I needed to repeat most of mine. I didn't like the way that it looked when I fully moved it up like that. Like, no, I want to be able to see the both of them and repeat it and play with the patterns. I had a great time playing with these dividers. I own, I think, all of Juvia Place's palettes. I think I have them all. And so I don't suggest that you do this and try to sell it. That would be stealing people's images. However, you know. I changed this font to white so that it'll show up. And it looks like you're not going to be able to see it. But when you select it all and hit flatten, now all of a sudden it really pops. You can see it clearly. And when it prints just like that, where you can really see the white on there. So let's do it again. Click the item, click that purple box, change it to pattern. And there you go. Play with your pattern a little bit, figure out how you want to do it. If your computer is glitchy like mine, it only really lets you do about 4 without it just becoming a glitchy mess. It's just too much thinking that my computer has to do. I have a very, very, very old computer too. It's time for me to buy another computer. So maybe that's why I'm getting all these glitches, but here I am just playing with this guy and adjusting it. One of my favorite palettes. This is the Wahala, I believe. I think that's the Wahala palette. And I'm making it larger, and I'm looking at the pinks and the blues, and I'm moving it right to left, looking at where it's going to repeat, just playing with it. This took a little bit of time, but it was worth it in my opinion. Now I'm going to grab that February and put it over there on the, there we go. It took me a minute to be able to grab that guy. And change the font again to something that will show up on this background, which I think I was able to do white on all of them so that it's consistent. I'm changing the size, I'm hitting flatten, and there we go. And now I can see that the February will stack nicely underneath the January. And that's pretty much it. So now let me show you how we're going to do the inside. I work with Valeria from Alibi Designs, and she creates my inserts for me if she doesn't already have some that I love. So I grabbed the back plastic for this, and I'm popping in these aluminum rings. And now I printed out her inserts, and I print them front and back so that the backs have something on them too. And she has registration marks on some of hers. She gives you a bunch of different options when she sends them to you. There are some for A4 sheets. There's some for half letter sheets. There are some with registration marks. There's some with 2 printed on 1 page, so on and so forth. You have a ton of different options. And so this is me testing to see where the holes are going to line up. I wish I had lined them up a little different, but hey, no worries. It still came out looking really, really good. And I used my paper trimmer, and this took a bit of time to do, but you can take these to Staples, print them out, have them printed at Staples, and then have Staples cut them all for you. Bam, bam, bam. They charge a few dollars a cut and you're done. You have your things ready to go. And I believe they'll punch it for you at Staples, if my mind serves me correctly. I think they have a disc bound punch. I'm using my arc punch here. You can do, I think, 5 or 6 sheets at a time. But I took my time. I enjoyed the process, and I played around with it. And I really, really, really am pleased with this planner, which really I should be calling a notebook, because at the end of the day, that's pretty much what it is. So I decided that I wanted the months. So I need to see the month, and I need to be able to jot down a few things in the month, but it's not like I'm doing stuff weekly. I have the same sad little routine every week. I go to school, I go to work. That's it. That's what I do. So I don't need to be talking about, nothing's going on over here for real. So this is how I'm lining them up for this particular one. I don't do all of them this way, but this one didn't have any registration marks and I wanted it centered. So I'm marking it with my pencil. And then the way that I cut it is I start on the right hand side. Actually, I started on the bottom and cut that registration mark first. Then you turn it to the right and cut that next registration mark. And this way you have to figure out which registration marks you want to keep, so on and so forth. I knew that this thing needed to measure 9 1/4. So I was able to cut it that way. And I have my arc set up to center it pretty good. And I'm going to go on ahead and just punch it. When you're doing the arc, punch it. Don't be playing with it. Use that lever and send it straight down and back up, and you won't have too many issues with things getting stuck. Paper doesn't get stuck, but when I start trying to punch through my laminations and stuff, that's when you got to punch it. So I'm cutting another sheet. I'm going up the right. I'm turning it. I'm going across the top. I'm going to turn it again, down the right. Actually, I skipped to the bottom. And then I went ahead and took off that last registration mark. If I had done it a different way, I would have taken off one of the registration marks before I was ready. You've got to play with it, guys. And it's not, you take it to Staples and they know what to do. So for the labels, not the labels, for the dividers that we've made, I decided to use some cardstock. This is one of those paper pads at Michael's, and it's pretty. It's called Gilded Ink. And I wanted to put that on the back. I didn't want the back of the dividers plain. I wanted to see something pretty on both sides. So I cut it with my Cricut. And it's, I matched it up. And I used a little bit of just washable school glue to stick it down so it wasn't flying all around. Now I'm going to use my mini Mink. I have the big Mink too, but the big Mink is acting funky. It starts smoking when I turn it on, and it doesn't work well right now. So I guess I'm going to have to toss it out and get another one. I guess I could get the Royal Sovereign, which people swear by and love, but I really like my Minks. So I have this on setting 2, and I don't have a super thick milliliter laminating sheets. I think I don't know what they are, the laminating sheets, but you have a couple different options for thickness, and I did not get the thickest one for sure. And now just send it through the laminator. And now we've got to cut it apart. Love my little Fiskars trimmer here with that stabilization bar in the center, not with the wire. I don't even know why they make the wire one. Make sure you don't cut too close to the cardstock, because then you'll open up that seal, because that's what a laminator is doing pretty much, is just sealing your stuff in there, in between the plastic. So you don't want to cut that and open it back up. So I'm cutting off the edges, and then I'm rounding the corners to match the corners that have already been rounded by the Cricut. For whatever reason, this is an old corner chomper. You can tell by the color that it's the old one. And so in order for it to really clamp good, you need to put about 4 or 5 in at one time, 3 to 5 at one time. And then when you clip it, you don't have to go back behind it with your scissors, because that's the whole point of having a corner chomper, so that I don't have to use my scissors. So I'm testing the size here. I did, of course, a couple of little test ones before I used my good ink. Used all that ink to print my dividers, but it worked out. It worked out well. So when you use this, you need to push. That's what I found. Like, push it down and be ready for it. I had to empty the tray because the tray was super full from all those other sheets that I had punched. And then just pop it out. And then pop it into your planner. And I love bottom tabs, guys. I don't understand why people do top tabs. I can't see it up there. Then I got to lift it up. It's a quirk of mine. Bottom tabs are the way to go. So here we are with this guy all set up. So we've got the months in the front. I've got a month at a glance. Then I've got a little things that you can fill in. So they're all the months. And then I have to-dos, which is really where I'll be hanging out the most. It's just straight up to-do paper there. Then I have quilts to make, which I like. And then purchased patterns. I buy a lot of quilt patterns. Then at the bottom I have projects, project planner. Then I have finished quilts. And then I have a note section, and that's it. That's all I need, guys. Nothing else is really going on here. I love it. I cannot wait to start writing in it, and I can still use stickers and all the things. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and seeing my setup planner for 2021.